I'm married to a woman who acts like a teenage girl. The author of the post is listed in the description. My wife behaves like a teenage girl, and I don't know whether to laugh or cry. This is just a rant. Curious to know how many full-grown adults behave the way my wife does. I'd say out of all of the adult women I know, like friends, relatives, wives of my friends, none of them behave this way unless they keep it a closely guarded secret. Editing right here to add that my wife is in her 30s for context. My wife is always obsessed with somebody, a man or sometimes multiple men at one time. Usually there is one or two main focuses at a time. When I talk obsessed, I mean obsessed like a teenage girl or maybe even preteen girl would be. I've seen pictures of her bedroom when she was that age, and they were literally wallpapers in posters of her favorite guys. That's totally normal for a 13-year-old girl. She still behaves that way as a woman in her 30s. Granted, our bedroom walls aren't wallpapered in posters, but they probably would be if I allowed it. Her obsessions have ranged from rock stars, actors, non-entertainment industry public figures. It's like one day she hasn't even heard of the guy in question, and the next day she's superfan #1 and knows just about everything there is to know about him. She will read and watch everything there is to watch about the man. She will bring him up in every conversation. She will adopt parts of him into her own personality. She will suggest things that make it clear to me that she wants me to adopt characteristics of these men as part of my appearance or personality. She will openly admit to me that she's masturbated over the guy multiple times in one day. When she finds a new man to obsess over, she puts the others in her little stable of men who she always has a place for in her heart and in her fantasies, so they never really go away. The new man just takes center stage and becomes the main focus of almost her entire life. So the current obsession is so strange to me. Never saw this one coming, but leave it to her to always find somebody new to fall in love with. The intensity that she has during these periods, it's honestly like she falls in love with these men. I'm laughing so hard just typing this all. Her current obsession is Bret Hart, former pro wrestler. This woman had never watched wrestling before in her life. Always thought that stuff was below her. And now she's obsessed with this former pro wrestler. She watched one show about him for reasons I'm not aware of, and I could tell almost instantly where it was headed. I thought, here we go. So now the Bret Hart obsession is in full swing. Has she already dropped close to $1,000 in vintage Bret Hart shirts on eBay? Of course. Bought all the stickers and magnets and all sorts of other stupid crap she can find? Yep. Does she send me Bret Hart YouTube clips all day long when she's supposed to be working? Yes, she does. So I better get to work brushing up on my Bret Hart knowledge and taglines. This is the key to getting laid when it comes to her. I'm used to this by now. It's just not something that I can easily explain to anyone I know. I mean, are things I'm a fan of, but she is next level. I can't think of anyone I know who is her age and acts like this. She was voted most likely to grow up and become a groupie when she was in high school, so this is absolutely nothing new for her. Sigh. Many are lighthearted in the comments. Commenter, I mean, he's the best there is, was, and ever will be, so that one makes sense at least. You don't think I'm hearing that 10 times a day now? I better start planning that trip to Calgary. Limerence is mentioned. Another commenter. Yeah, my bouts of limerence have been with people I've dated, but reading that made me realize that I was very much being obsessive, and it was totally all-consuming. Glad it's over, honestly. Those feelings are exhausting. Very interesting to hear you say the feelings are exhausting. It's like a full-time job for my wife, so I could see that. She told me she's at work with her door closed, pretending to be working, but she's really watching Bret Hart videos on YouTube. She can't even focus on her job. OP reveals more of the life he's signed up for in the comments. Another commenter, you've pretended to act like other men for 20 years? Damn, dude, I hope you're finding ways to accept it and cope. That sounds rough. Having to be someone else to have sex. Stay strong, king. Nah, I just learned their catchphrases or gain some deep fan knowledge that'll impress her, or maybe perfect a vocal impersonation of them that I can drop at the opportune time. The vocal impersonations work the best as far as making her like me and being like, okay, wanna have sex now? Another commenter, but what do you guys actually share together? That's not related to the obsession of the season? I'm not going to even bother asking if she's tried to learn about any of your hobbies, interests. NGL, this is all pretty grim to me, my man, and I'm someone who loves having a partner who is passionate about things and nerds out. I fear that you've spent so long with her infatuations, steamrolling over your own interests and preferences, that you have convinced yourself that getting attention by proxy as your main source of validation from your spouse is a healthy way to live. If I told you that I was big into anime and Japanese RPGs, and the only way I get interested in doing it with my actual wife is if she adopts the catchphrases, personality characteristics of my latest waifu, would you feel some concern for my wife's mental health? I'm also wondering about this spending. She's pretty dismissive of my interests and hobbies. I've told her I'd like her to try to pretend to show a little more interest sometimes. I make an effort to show real interest in her stuff, and she does not do the same. I'm very into music, and I do geek out over guitars and gear and things like that, and she couldn't tell you anything about any of the guitars I own other than he has a blue one, he has a red one. We do love some of the same bands. Of course, she wants to fuck the band members, and I just want to talk about the chord progression on my favorite guitar tracks. But it's close enough. We like a lot of the same movies and that sort of thing. We have the same sense of humor and can keep each other laughing for ages. We have a lot of the same views on life and on the world in general. I don't know, we just get each other, I guess. I would be concerned about the waifu thing, but I guess in my case, she always likes guys who I think are pretty cool anyway. She has good taste, at least. If she has to be obsessing over some other guy constantly, at least she does it over guys I can respect on some level. Regarding the spending, I spend way more than she does. Only difference is it's not usually fan merch I'm buying, but she tolerates my spending when it comes to stuff like guitar gear. She rolls her eyes and reprimands me, but she tolerates it and just knows I won't stop. I'm the same when it comes to her fan stuff. I get it, she wants the vintage 1993 Bret Hart shirt that costs hundreds. Not a modern shirt that just anyone could go online and buy for $1.25 right now. She wants the cool, rare stuff. I'm the same with my guitars, so I guess it's like we understand each other in some way. I think it's weird to become a fan of somebody and 2 days later drop thousands on them, though. At least my money pit is consistent. I think we both feel like we're the only person who will semi-understand and tolerate all of this stuff from each other. Not included here, but in several comments, OOP definitely brings up his wife's looks as a positive in the relationship, and he finds her antics at times amusing or even attractive. Update. I recently wrote about my wife suddenly discovering former pro wrestler Bret the Hitman Hart one day after never even knowing of his existence, experienced love at first sight, and is now even deeper than love with him than she was a month ago. Tonight, I experienced a good hour of her sobbing, literal sobs after watching the Bret Hart A and E biography. I just love him so much. I love him with all my heart. I don't want any more bad things to happen to him. Also, I'm very jealous he's not my husband. She also went from not wanting any kids to suddenly wanting a baby so she can name it Brett. A girl or a boy, doesn't matter. They will be named Brett. And she almost had me convinced. But I blame that on the heat of the moment. She's bought all sorts of clothes just like his. My wife now dresses like Bret Hart in and outside of the ring. The past few days, she's been acting really annoyed with me. Finally, I'm like, WTF, am I doing wrong? I bought you Bret Hart stuff for your birthday. I call you Mrs. Bret Hart now, even though you're my wife. I even sent you flowers at work from Bret. I mean, that was supposed to get me points because she knew they were from me, and I was playing into her obsession, which she's now apparently shared with everyone she works with. They've bought her a giant Bret Hart wall decal for her office. Okay, so I did forget our anniversary, which was very recently. Totally forgot it. Then again, so did she. She was too busy masturbating over Bret Hart to remember our wedding anniversary. I mean, bad husband points for me, obviously, but all the birthday gifts had to have made up for it. I mean, I even ordered a Bret Hart birthday banner and got her a Bret Hart-themed birthday cake as if she were a 7-year-old boy in the year 1994. So why is she acting so annoyed lately? Why does she act like she hates me and can't stand to even be in the same room as me? She finally admits, I'm not Bret Hart. None of her obsession have ever been this bad. She's seriously threatening me with divorce now because I'm not Bret Hart. She just wants a guy like that. She had to go walk the dog today and cry over it, how much she hates me and wishes she was married to Bret Hart. Oh, fuck me, you want a guy like your dad because that's what Bret Hart is like. Exactly like her dad. The same look, the same hair, the same damn age. I told her I think she should get checked out for autism or some other sort of disorder. Her obsessions have never been this bad. She should make an appointment now because the wait list is long. She just laughed. There's nothing wrong with her. She just has different taste in men now, according to her. Some comments. Commenter. Therapist here. She needs to see a psychiatrist. This is mental illness to the extreme. Either she goes or you leave. This is ultimatum territory. And stop giving into her obsession. It makes it worse. Commenter. Man, when she threatens divorce, take it. Jump at the chance. Hell, sit, be a good boy, and offer your fucking paw if that's what it takes to get treated to an exit strategy. Don't worry about dignity. Sounds like you gave that up a long time ago. She's even looked up the divorce process for where we live and says we can be amicable about everything. She assures me she's not looking to take anything that is rightfully mine. She just wants a clean break. Commenter. I'm surprised he even lasted this long. Calling her Ms. Bret Hart, I can't even fathom. Excuse me, it's Mrs. Bret Hart, not Miss OP elaborates on the share of responsibilities. I pay all of our shared bills, mortgage, car insurance, all utilities, internet, etc. Commenter. What is the old saying? Crazy is fun to sleep with, but terrible to be married to. Something like that. She sounds like she would be a blast in the sack, but terrible to be in a committed relationship with. That's pretty much it. Did I also mention she doesn't cook or clean? Not that I expect the woman to do all of that, but she doesn't do it at all. Okay, next story. Ada for cutting off my friends after they made fun of my BF because they slept with me. So I had 3 guy friends. They're not my only friends, but we were pretty close. And I've had sex with all of them, including some group sex. This stopped some years ago. In fact, 2 of them are in long-term relationships with 2 of my best friends, and they are aware of our history. Now, my BF and I have been together for about a year, and it's been the best relationship I've had. The thing is, my BF is a bit insecure because I'm his first. He's also aware of my history with my friends. I've assured him that this is in the past, and I have no sexual attraction to them at all now, and that he's all I need. I actually asked my friends to never talk about this ever. However, the other night we were all hanging out, and I headed out with a friend to get some stuff. When we get back, my BF's mood is much different. He plays it off, but I can tell something was bothering him. When we get back to my place, I press the issue, and he says my guy friends kept making Eskimo brother jokes, and how he got the leftovers, and told them about how good he must be if he can satisfy me the same way all of them couldn't. I was furious, and confronted my friends. They kept saying they were trying to man up my BF since I told them he felt insecure about them. My BF kept trying to save face, saying things that the past is the past, but I can tell he's feeling down. I decided to cut off my friends because not only they disrespected my BF, but also me by calling me leftovers. My 2 best friends keep saying that it's not a big deal and that me and my BF are overreacting. Also, how can I make this up to my BF? I tried to show him how much I want him by initiating sex, but he hasn't been in the mood. Relevant comments before update. Commenter, NTA for cutting off the 3 guy friends. If your other 2 friends continue to make you feel in the wrong, I'd cut ties with them too. YTA for telling any of them your BF was insecure about your past. You broke his trust, and it's going to take more than initiating sex to gain that back. Answer, I was trying to help. I've heard stories about a girl's past being exposed because their friends let it slip. I didn't want that to happen. I really thought my guy friends would understand. Commenter, those are not great friends. I think you are correct in cutting them off. They show a distinct lack of empathy and emotional intelligence. Apologize to your BF for sharing his insecurities. Unless he specifically said that it was okay, those were likely told to you in confidence, and you broke that confidence. You're going to have to earn back his trust. I don't know the best way to do that, but it sounds like the 2 of you need to have a conversation. Answer, he never said that it was okay. Looking back, I realize I really fucked up. He says he's fine, but he doesn't even want to touch me right now. Answer, if your boyfriend dumps you, and he might, you need to realize 2 things. He's young, inexperienced, and this was traumatic for him. It's not him being insecure, it's you trusting shitty people that hurt him. Second, if he leaves, that's not a green light to go back to business as usual with this friend group. They shit on your trust and behaved like cruel children. That's stuff you don't look past. As for your best friends, they need to understand exactly what sort of sleazebags they're dating. And if they can't appreciate your anger, then let them know that when they become leftovers, maybe they'll understand. Answer, I will never touch them again, even if my BF breaks up with me. First update. Hello, everyone. It's been a long couple days, and my BF has finally opened up. He said he's glad I cut off my friends and that he wasn't going to ask me to do it, but if I hadn't, he would have left. He said he doesn't want to break up over this, as it wasn't something wrong I did. He gets that most people have a past and that I didn't even know him back then. He said it just became too real when my ex-friends opened their mouth. He's also mad at me because I told them his insecurities, something that I know was a horrible mistake. I apologized profusely and promised it was never going to happen again. He also says he feels inadequate and inferior. He said, "How the hell am I supposed to compare? I'm just one guy?" I assured him that he's way better than them, and that he's all I want from now on. We kept talking for a while. Eventually, we hugged it out. He says he doesn't feel ready to have sex again and asked me to respect that, which I agreed to. He also says he doesn't want to hang out with any other former partner. He says he won't freak out of anything if we run into one at like a party or something, but he won't hang out with them, which is more than fair after what happened. One of my best friends reached out and apologized for what she said. She thought my former friends just mentioned our history and my BF got all insecure, but didn't realize just how horrible they were. She said she broke up with him already. I haven't heard from the other friend. As for me, I feel absolutely disgusting knowing I let those guys touch me. And I know I fucked up when I told them about my BF's insecurity. Still, that doesn't excuse just how horrible some of your comments were. I take full responsibility for disclosing my BF's insecurities, but most of you just wanted to shame me for having sex in the first place. I didn't hurt anyone just for having group sex, but I did fuck up by calling the wrong people my friends. To those of you who were more understanding, but still rightfully called me out for my carelessness with my BF's feelings, thank you. Second update. While a lot of you were horrible in the comments, I appreciate the few of you who were more supportive. My BF and I seem to be back on track now. He's back to his old self and has been very loving and sweet. I've been as affectionate as possible without being sexual. I've been making him meals, got him a couple of gifts, and complimented him. We had a deep talk about boundaries, and we talked out what happened. He forgave me for talking about his insecurities to my friends, and I promised him that I won't ever do anything like that again. We also talked about his insecurities, by the way. He's fully aware of my previous posts and say it's fine because no one knows who we are. Well, after I assured him he's the best I've had, which is true, and that I don't want anyone else but him, well, he got his confidence back, and he wasn't shy to show me. So things are good now with us. I've learned my mistake. As for my former friends, I've blocked them on everything, and I have no desire to ever see them again. I think this is going to be my last update. And while I don't expect my relationship to never have problems again, I think we've moved on from this now. Relevant comments. Commenter. You're fortunate to have a forgiving boyfriend when it comes to something like blurting out his insecurities. You know he would be just as right to walk away after a betrayal like that. Answer. I'm fully aware he has every right to break up with me, but he forgave me, and I'm grateful. And I won't ever betray him again. Top comments. Commenter. I'd caution you not to assume you've moved on entirely. Shit, this traumatic can be buried but has a way of working to the surface under stress. You're working hard to repair the hurt, and that's great. He's more forgiving than many would be. You're very lucky he's very mature at his age. I know it sounds extreme, but things like this can sometimes create PTSD-like symptoms. YPU don't have to walk on eggshells, but just be aware that it's buried, not gone. How do you like this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Let's get 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Love you.